Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, and welcome back to another Why Does This Say Daily Hope Devotion when this is the Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy, so excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and to be glad in it. My brothers and sisters, this is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural, normal, and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you express it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout, good morning, good morning, good morning, because morning, my brothers and sisters, morning is a good thing. And I'm so glad that y'all are here with us on today. So excited to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. Look, yesterday we had a lesson on mourning. What was it? Hold on one second. Yesterday we talked about, I did a spinoff. Yesterday we talked about mourning while trusting God's plan. God's plan. God's plan. We talked about mourning while trusting God's plan. And I said something during the lesson that just it caught me, and I had to go and create something else. So yesterday we talked about mourning while trusting God's plan. Today, because y'all know I love to alliterate everything. Today we're gonna talk about mourning while maintaining faith. Mourning while maintaining faith. We're gonna mourn, trust God's plan. We're also gonna mourn while maintaining faith, right? Sometimes I love wrestle. I love living in the tension because that's the reality of life. That sometimes, we want stuff to be black or white, right? Sometimes it's gray. Sometimes we live in the tension. We live in the tension. We're mourning, maintaining faith. It's like being pulled. I'm trying to more. Well, I am more. I'm trying to maintain my faith, but I'm mourning and I'm mourning, but I'm trying to maintain my faith. And sometimes life calls for us to live in the tension and understanding the dynamic of mourning while maintaining faith. Let's talk about it, y'all. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Job 13 and 15. Grief has a way of shaking what once felt steady. When loss hits hard, your faith can feel fragile, as if hope is slipping through your fingers. Mourning can leave you questioning God's plan, wondering why he allows such pain and struggling to reconcile your sorrow with his problems. It can leave that which is shaking steady. That which was steady, it can leave shaking, right? And you got a lot of questions, right? I'm questioning God's plan. What is this? Because I know this wasn't God's plan for my life, not my Lord. I know this was not my Lord's plan for me, right? We wrestle with that. Wondering why would you allow such pain? Now, why would you go and do that? Like, for real? Like, I thought we was cool. I was going to church, paying my tithes. I'm good. I'm faithful. I serve a little bit. I know I cuss a little bit, but I'm doing good. But why? Why would you allow? Why would you allow this type of pain into my life? And we struggle to reconcile our sorrow with his promises. Yet maintaining faith doesn't mean you have to pretend you're not hurting, right? When we talk about maintaining faith, this is not pretending that I'm not hurting, because I'm hurting. When I talk about I'm trying to maintain my faith, that don't mean I got to fake it. That don't mean that I have to put on and act like I am not what I am, right? As far as what I feel. That true faith isn't denying your grief. It brings your grief to God. Y'all hear that? True faith doesn't deny my grief. It brings my grief to God. Let me ask you this question. It may be a dumb question, but have you brought your grief to God? Right? Have you brought your grief to God? What is my grief? How you feel? Have you brought your grief to God, right? Have you brought it to God? And when I say have you brought your grief to God, I'm talking about whatever that feeling is. If you're angry, if you're mad, if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you're irritated, if you're agitated, if you're frustrated, if you're confused, if it's ambiguity, if it's uncertainty, have you brought that grief to God? Do you bring that grief to God? I'm talking about on an ongoing basis because you got to bring your grief to God, right? Or are you mad at God because you think he's the one that got you in this in the first place? So you ain't talking to him at all. Like, I have nothing to say to you. So I have nothing to say to you, God. So I'm not bringing you my grief, right? Because I think that you are grossly responsible for this. So I ain't got nothing to say to you. Is that where you are? Is that your mindset? Right? And if it is, check this out. Bring that grief to God. Tell him that. He ain't gonna strike you down, I promise you. He's not gonna say, how dare you, and throw a lightning bolt at you. He's not gonna do that. Because ultimately he wants us to bring our grief to him. It's bringing your grief to God. It's crying out like David, how long, O Lord? While still holding on to the truth that God is near. Faith in grief means trusting that God is still present, even in your pain. When you start talking about faith in grief, it's trusting that God is present, even in my pain. Even in my pain, God is here. Even in this predicament, God is here. Even in the midst of this problem, God has not dumped, ditched, or discarded me. God didn't clock out. God is, no, he is still here, even in the midst of it all. It means believing that he's strong enough to handle your tears, your anger, and your questions. It's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting the one who holds them. That you may not feel strong right now, but you don't have to be. God's strength is carrying you. Each prayer whispered through tears, each moment you choose to believe despite your doubts is a step toward healing. This is what it means to maintain faith even while in mourning. Here's your point of application, y'all. If your faith feels weak right now, don't hide it, bring it to God. This is so very important. If your faith feels weak right now, we ain't hiding nothing. Don't hide it. Bring it to God. Pray honestly, expressing your pain, your doubts, your struggles. Ask Him to meet you in the morning and renew your faith one day at a time. Trust that He is still with you, even in the moments when you can't feel him. Today is day 77. I told y'all this message was straight from heaven. Mourning while maintaining faith. Beloved, I hope and pray that this is where you are, that you are mourning while still maintaining faith. Tiffany says, I was like that with the passing of my mom. I questioned God daily, but God didn't answer me quickly. He wanted me to trust him. Once I started trusting God, life got better and I understood. That's so beautiful, right? It's so beautiful. I'm so glad you came to that. I was always taught not to question God and asked you, Pastor, is there a way to question God? And you let me know it's okay to question God. Now my grief journey has gone to a new level because I can tell God how I feel. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's about evolving on this journey. It's about understanding. It's about awareness, education, and action, and understanding. Like, oh yeah, I can question. I can ask some questions, right? And telling him how you feel is so very important. That's what he wants more than anything. Reveal how you feel. Come and talk to me. Holler at me. No matter how bad it is, whatever the case may be, he's not sitting there waiting to knock you out. No, he wants to help you to process. That's what he says, 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your care upon me because I care for you. And whatever you're feeling in your heart, right? The formula is feel, reveal, heal. But if I feel angry, but I don't feel as if I can reveal to God I'm angry, then how's that going to help me? If I feel some way about him, but I can't reveal to him that I feel someone, how's that going to help me? Nah, you got the opportunity to tell God how you feel, right? And he's the one that helps you to navigate through and process everything that you're feeling. What's going on, Brother Aaron? There, time will at least me, I want for the grief and get through, but reality things will never be normal. No, things will never be normal, right? It's never going back to the way it was. You have to develop new normals. You have to develop new normals. That's the thing about grief, right? It's never going back. You got to develop new normals. And I know we want to fast forward through, right? Like I just want to get through this, right? So many people we it's the process. It's the process. It's the process we got to endure. And it can be grueling, it can be seem like a lot, but it's the process. And you just don't want to go through the process. You want to grow through the process because God is using this, right? God is going to use this to make you a better version of yourself. And so just endure it, go through the process. It's so very important. I know it's painful. I know it don't feel good. Yeah, everybody would like to fast forward. I just want to get to the other side. I just want to get to the other side where I don't feel no pain and this, that, and the other. And if you do the work, right? If you do the work, not just grief, but mourning, because grief is what you feel, mourning is how you reveal it. If you do the work, mourning requires motion and must have action. If you do the work, I'm telling you, you're going to come out on the other side. You're going to get there. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate y'all sharing. Appreciate y'all sharing this morning. Yes, 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 yes. But y'all, we going to keep this ball rolling. We going to keep showing up every single day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to continue to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. I thank y'all for joining us. I pray God's peace and blessings over you as we continue to navigate through our individual grief journeys. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place for another Good Morning Grief Devotion.